What it do, y'all? It's your guy Bendu coming at y'all with another video today. And today I want to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home some more. I was about to say Far From Home. I want to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home some more. So again, spoiler warning to anybody that has not seen the film. I'm going to be talking spoilers in this film. So I recommend you leave. 3, 2, 1. So okay, in this video, we're going to be talking about what's next for Spider-Man, specifically Tom Holland Spider-Man, because I'm going to be doing a separate video about what I think is going to be happening with the other Spider-Man that were in the film. Ooh, I know that sounds fascinating. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Tom Holland's future, in the MCU and whether there is one. Because I don't think it's far out of the realm of possibility with everything that's been going on that he wouldn't return. So let's go ahead and get into it. I want to start it off though by reading this article that I found online. It came out in December 8th, and I feel like everybody has seen this. I didn't get a chance to cover it when it first came out, but here I am now covering it because it pertains to what I'm talking about in this video. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so this is an article I found from Fansided. It's a website. I'll link the article down below so you can go check it out yourself if you want to. But Tom Holland clarifies comments about not wanting to play Spider-Man. This is by Dan Selecki. I think that's how you say it. The Selecki. That's one week. But here we go. Tom Holland has played Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, for years now. Ever since he showed up in 2016's Captain America's Civil War. His third solo movie as Spider-Man, No Way Home, is about to come out, and you get the sense that there's a part of Holland that's had enough. I feel like a lot of actors get that, and they voice it sometimes. Like Daniel Craig was voicing, his disdain of playing Bond, like 2 movies ago. So, but if I'm playing Spider-Man after I'm 30, so remember he said this, after I'm 30, I've done something wrong. He recently told GQ. At the same time, we also just learned that he's going to be in a whole other Spider-Man movie trilogy. So if he wants, now that was kind of backtracked from what I read. That's not in stone yet. So I don't know what Homegirl was talking about, Amy Pascal was talking about, but from what I saw, that wasn't set in stone. So if he wants to leave, he wants those aircraft carriers full of money, more. Backtracking a bit, he explained his not when I'm 30 comments to Extra TV. What I was referring to in that interview where I said if I was playing Spider-Man when I'm 30, I've done something wrong, is because I would be taking up an opportunity for someone to come in and change what being Spider-Man means. Spider-Man can be more diverse. It could be a female character, it could be anything. Man, get out of here. That's what Spider-Gwen is for, bro. You're Spider-Man, bro. Like we're just getting started with you, Tom. Indeed, Holland is eager to get some fresh blood into the franchise. I'd like to see Miles. I'd like to see Silk. I think you could do a really cool Jackpot movie, the actor said. At the same time, I still think there's a part of him that wants out because he keeps saying stuff like this. I don't know what the future of Spider-Man looks like. I don't know whether I'm going to be part of it. Spider-Man will always live on in me, and I know that Amy Pascal and the studio are keen to figure out what the next chapter of Spider-Man looks like. If that happens to be with me, then that's very exciting. But if it's time for me to walk away, then I'll do so proudly. But again, all this is moot because he'll be in at least 3 more Spider-Man movies. Again, that's not set in stone. If the third one comes in while he's 29, he'll just sneak under his self-opposed ceiling. Yeah, and that the rest doesn't really pertain to what I wanted to talk about. But yeah, I just found it interesting because again, you've had Tom Holland espousing sentiments like this, and the way the film ended. So again, spoilers. Again, I already gave the warning, but I figured I'd give it again. With the way the film ended, it ended in such a way, it was like a perfect ending. And when I say perfect ending, the ending in a sense, if they never do another Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland, perfect send-off. But if they want to, and I hope they do, it's the perfect continuation, and not only just a continuation, but a continuation in which fans have been asking for. So for me, this is the first time I feel, well, not the first time, but I feel like this is a clear message to the fans that the studios, you know, Sony and Marvel, have put forth, saying that, look, if we continue doing these movies, we're going to give you what you want. Because a lot of people like me have been asking for a more grounded Spider-Man, you know. But it's so weird because now watching it and seeing the whole trilogy, you know, I'm gonna go back one day maybe and watch them all three. But it's a very dope like origin story. You feel me? Like they basically told an origin story for Spider-Man. It was like, okay, he had this cool origin story where he went to space and he did have some of those high school moments, but he went to space and he met other Spider-Man like him. You know, he got a chance to get his feet wet with the multiverse, you know, all that. But now we're going to tell a more grounded Spider-Man story. And that's what it looks like they're going to be doing. However, you do have Venom, you know, as Tobey Maguire said in the movie, I fought a purple alien or a black alien goo thing. You know, that's not very grounded, but so many possibilities, man. Like, and it would suck if they just cut it short, because with everything that's going on in the MCU, I can definitely see Spider-Man fighting Kingpin in the next film, for example. And they kind of continue that interaction with Matt Murdock further by, you know, him and Daredevil, you know, Matt Murdock as Daredevil teaming up. That could be the first film. Then the second film, they do, like, I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. They introduce the Osborns or something like that. Like, oh, the Osborns bought Stark Tower and everything. Because as far as we know, unless Andrew and Toby talk to him off screen, you know, about certain things and the way things went down in their universe, he would be wary of Norman Osborn, given his, you know, history with another, you know, Norman Osborn from another universe. But and that would be fast. That would be dope to play off of in the film as well, like him being wary. And they could kind of do this like bait and switch, where they're like, oh, is Norman the Goblin, you know, and then it turns out it's Harry or something like that. He befriends Harry, and it turns out that it's Harry, because as far as we know from what I've seen, Holland and Toby didn't talk to him saying, oh, both of our best friends were Harry Osborn. They just mentioned Norman Osborn, and Norman mentioned Harry once. So it's like, you know, I feel like I can see a naive, you know, Tom Holland looking to meet a new friend and things like, or accumulating friends, because I think we're going to see him interact with more of his like adult Spider-Man friends from the comic book and everything, and more of his friends from the later runs and more current runs and everything. But they can kind of take that from the Spectacular Spider-Man show, where, yeah, Norman did in the end, you know, he was the Goblin, but at a certain point it was like Harry was revealed to be the Goblin in that show. So that would definitely be a, you know, a dope way to do it. And then obviously the third film is like the Venom film and send off. And I'm like, yo, what if the introduction, so, you know, Tom Holland's talking about he doesn't want to play Spider-Man past 30. They're going to do probably an adult trilogy with him. What if in the third film they kill him off and they introduce Miles Morales? But also I thought about that. I was like, that would be cool, but let's do something out of the blue. So as of right now, this may be a plot point for the Spider-Man PS4 game, you know, the Spider-Man 2 PS4 game. Like, obviously we don't know. I haven't read anything about the story yet. I don't know if they've dropped tidbits, you know, more tidbits about the story other than what we already know from how the first game ended and how the Miles Morales game ended. But you know, I haven't seen anything about Miles Morales, like, you know, particularly like fighting Peter, but that seems like it might be the case in the game as well. But what if, like, you know, obviously with everything that happened to Peter, you know, Aunt May dying, his friends forgetting him, and him making the honestly grown-up choice to allow them to have better lives away from his life as Spider-Man, because he's not giving up being Spider-Man. So him making that tough choice, he's in a very bad place, man. Even Happy forgot him. So it's like, you know, it started like what the Venom suit does. It alters his personality and everything. And you have Miles Morales basically step up to stop like a rampaging Peter, basically. Like, what if he takes that dark turn that Andrew Garfield alluded, you know, that he took in his films and everything? That would be a cool, very fascinating concept to see. However, this is where, so I liked the villains in Far From Home that came over from the different universes, but in a sense, they kind of spoiled the surprises for Tom Holland's Spider-Man now, because like as soon as he hears the name Octavius, he's going to be like looking at him all sketchy, like, What you over there doing, bro? What you doing? You know, as soon as he hears the name Max Dillon or, you know, Norman Osborn, like I said. Now, like I just came up with a way that you can circumvent that to make it interesting. It kind of sucks because like that, just that allure of surprise is now gone, you know, or Kurt Connors, you feel me? All that, like it's going to be the same plot point. Like Peter, like, okay, I know you from another universe. Are you crazy, basically? And like, are you going to, you know, spaz out, supervillain spaz out and try to kill everybody in the city? So they kind of spoiled that, you know, surprise element there. But like I said, there's workarounds to where you can get, you know, to work around it and everything. But yeah, so what if like Miles is fighting Peter though, and like not necessarily like, not that Miles kills Peter or anything like that, but like Peter dies in that film, you know, from some action he does or anything, but he dies redeemed. He doesn't die a villain, you know, doesn't die a bad guy. But let's say he dies like fixing, you know, fighting Eddie Brock or something like that, or fighting Eddie Brock and Carnage. That would be cool. So I still haven't seen Venom Let There Be Carnage too. I'm not a big fan of the Venom films personally. I like Tom Hardy as Venom. I would have liked to see him in the MCU, but I don't, his films just don't work for me personally. I'm going to be talking about that more in another Spider-Man video I'm going to be doing, because I have like an interesting pitch that should be done. But that being said, like, you know, what if Peter dies fighting, you know, Venom and Carnage or whatever, you know, and that's when you fully, you know, you have him. So I would say like the beginning, like not the beginning, but the middle of the film is Miles basically having to step up and fight Peter, and like kind of like towards the, you know, the climax, Peter becomes good, I guess, you know, quote unquote good and redeemed, and he starts training Miles a little bit and things like that. And basically Peter dies, and now Miles has to learn on his own. So that would be very cool to see. I think that would be so cool to see. Obviously mix in Childish Gambino coming back as Aaron Davis, you know, playing Miles's uncle, but also the Prowler, you know, add in a MCU connection on how he got his tech and everything like that. Just not Tony Stark. Please, not Tony Stark. God, please, not Tony Stark. You know, we finally got past that point with Spider-Man relying on Tony Stark so much. Like you saw him knitting his own costume and everything, because he can't go to Happy's house and fabricate a costume now because Happy doesn't know him. So, but yeah. Dude, there's so much that they can do with the Spider-Man now, and I'm so happy. Like oh my god, it's just so many what if Marvel's what if. But nah, what if like he interacts with Kate Bishop now, like, you know, like more ground, you know, like I said, ground level, street level characters. Even though Kate Bishop is, you know, she's running around with Hawkeye and everything, but like the way the Hawkeye show has been, it's been pretty grounded for the most part. So, but man, like there's so many directions they can take this Spider-Man. Like I said, teaming up with Daredevil. What if he has an interaction with Punisher? You know, there's so many routes you can take this Spider-Man now. And I hope they keep him street level. I hope he's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That's what it seems like. They put him in the crappy apartment, because I like my Spider-Man broken, struggling. Hopefully in the, you know, in the next trilogy, he's also taking pictures for the Daily Bugle, you know, being naive, trying to change Jonah's mind about Spider-Man and things like that. So let's just hope. And Gwen, not Gwen Stacy. What did they have her play? Betty Brant works there, and Gory Rice is Betty Brant. In the first film, I could have sworn they said she was Gwen Stacy, but I may have been tripping. But and Gory Rice, who's the blonde chick, Ned's girlfriend from Far From Home. Yeah, her. She's playing Betty Brant. So I think they kind of confirmed that she works at the Daily Bugle now. So that could kind of be Ned's reintroduction to Peter and them becoming friends. Let's say, like, you know, in college, you know, Ned and Betty start dating again, and he comes in to see Betty, and that's how him and Peter rekindle their friendship. There's so many things they can do. So, and on the Michelle, you know what? I'll do a separate video about what I think they should do with Peter and Michelle. I'll do a separate video about that. So, yeah, but that wraps up, you know, my thoughts on it. You know, I hope the MCU and Sony can work out another deal. You know, I hope we haven't seen the last of Tom Holland Spider-Man, because honestly, like I said at the top of this video, I can see it going that way. The way they purposely left the film off the way they did, so they can go in either direction. So yeah, with that being said, guys, as always, like, subscribe, and share, and emphasis on the comments, and also emphasis on the subscribe as well. Hit that red button down below if you enjoyed the video. Comment down below if you enjoyed the video. Let me know if I'm tripping for what I said in this video. Let me know if y'all think, yo, I can kind of see them, you know, not going forward with any more Holland movies either. Maybe going forward with Andrew. That'll be on the video for another day, guys. So with that being said, thanks for tuning in. Peace. Easy.
I thought the shit was looking up, but I guess now I'm out of time. Looking at the numbers on the wall, but you running through my mind. I'm starting to realize what I'm seeking for is seeming hard to find. And we're all falling right through space, and I'm out of time. But I keep falling now.